I'm meteorologist Shane Hinton in the next weather sphere, and we're talking all about storm surge. Now, if you're someone who's new to Florida or new to hurricane season in general, you might be confused about what storm surge actually is. So we thought we'd break down the science of what storm surge is and also how it impacts us here in South Florida. What we're beginning with is the definition of storm surge, okay? It's the abnormal water level that rises above your typical high and low tide. Now, this is caused by the onshore winds that come from the outside of tropical systems, and this wind helps to push water from the ocean further inland and can cause quite a bit of destruction. Now, it's even more destructive when you put that on top of high tide. That's just one of the many different factors that can contribute to storm surge height. As you can see, there's quite a few to discuss here. We have the coastline shape and depth, we have the strength of the storm or the hurricane itself, the wind field size, the speed of the storm or system, the direction that the storm is coming from and heading toward, and then also, as I mentioned already, that high or low tide. So let's take a look at kind of the setup for storm surge, especially when you factor in the shape of Florida itself. What we're doing right now is standing on the southern edge of it and then indicating where that wind's coming from. So whenever we have systems that are coming in from the Atlantic, it pulls that ocean water in, and then it can bring quite a bit of destruction to our coastal areas. And then depending on the strength and the category of the storm, it can actually cause pretty big impacts as we make our way further inland. So let's talk about what it looks like graphically here. We have our normal sea level, but then whenever you factor in the wind from a tropical system, it can help to increase those sea level heights and then push further inland. So 3 feet, we're not talking about too much destruction here. 6 feet, we can actually start going above porches and then moving further inland to your house. And then 12 feet, we're talking about the potential of it to actually reach the roof of one's home. Now let's talk about the risk areas. Now, throughout our Florida coastlines, we have 16 million people living along the coastline themselves. Now, the Gulf Coast is actually more vulnerable than we are here in southeast Florida, and the reason for that is the coastline itself. On the Gulf Coast side, the coastline is more shallow, but on the southeastern edge of Florida, we have a steeper coastline, which is actually less favorable for higher storm surge heights. I mentioned the strength of a storm also has very big impacts on the storm surge. A Category 1 storm surge shows that we would have our heaviest or highest amounts, I should say, greater than 9 feet above ground for southwest Florida. But as you make your way just south of Homestead, we're talking maybe 1 to 3 feet above the ground. Now, if we factor in a Category 5 storm surge, you can see that is much greater impacts for us, even here in southeast Florida, 9 feet above sea level in Homestead, and then in Kendall, we're talking anywhere from 3 to 6 feet. So this is just one of the many different factors that we have here whenever we're talking about storm surge itself. Now, what about alerts? Well, we have two that we're going to be talking about. We have a storm surge watch and a storm surge warning. A watch means that there's the potential for flooding from water that is moving in from the shoreline, and these are generally issued within 48 hours of the event from the National Hurricane Center. Then you have the storm surge warning. This is when the expected danger of flooding from water is moving in from the shoreline, and this is generally issued within 36 hours of the event. Storm surge is an incredible, yet at the same time can be scientifically terrifying whenever we talk about hurricane season, but as long as you know the alerts and you stay on top of the forecast with the Next Weather team, you're going to be good to go. Reporting from the Next Weather Sphere, I'm meteorologist Shane Hinton.
Thanks, Shane.